Okay, so first of all, I'm going to just start off with this little assembly on New Year's resolutions. Okay, can you remember last year we did an assembly on resolutions, and I talked about what I was going to be doing this last year. Okay, so you may remember that a resolution is a challenge that you sort of make yourself, trying to change your lifestyles, do something outside the norm. And I've delivered this assembly for a number of years now. I've done resolutions for over 20 years. And as I say, I always give a little assembly just to try to get you to think about a little challenge that you might want to take on this year. So typical resolutions, things like losing weight, getting fit, change your job, improve your grades, learn to play an instrument. These are all typical sort of resolutions. But unfortunately, only approximately 50% of people ever achieve the resolution. And usually after a week or two into the new year, those resolutions have been forgot about. Men achieve their resolutions more often if they set short-term goals. And females are more successful if they get sort of their family and friends involved, so they're not doing the resolution on their own. So my resolutions started in sort of 1999, and you may remember me saying that it started off with like a night class called the Adult Education Certificate, and I was thinking I might want to go into teaching adults, and that was in 1999. Okay. The year after, I actually got my first job as a teacher. So, I've been teaching over 20 years now, and all of that came from that one resolution, okay? Also, if you think about what I teach, computers, okay, that particular resolution there also has helped. But these three here were sort of academic resolutions, and these three monkeys came along, and really I didn't want to do another night class. So I thought, okay, 2002, I'm going to have to do something a little bit different. So those are sort of the resolutions from 2002. So I've done everything from watercolor painting, learning the guitar. So some of the photography I showed you at the start there, they were all my pictures. I've done triathlons, marathons, voluntary work, these family challenges. Every member in the family did something for a charity. So this one here, the Stroke Association, I think I did a marathon. My wife did a half marathon. My youngest daughter, who was only 7 at the time, she walked 113 miles and completed the Cleveland Way. Okay, but she did that over a year. So as I say, it's interesting what you can do. I will just point out that, if I look back to my first marathon there, 2012, I never ever thought I would be able to do a marathon. I thought it was beyond me, because I've done a lot of half marathons and they're that tough. I just couldn't visualize myself doing a marathon. So it does show you that, you can do so much more if you put your mind to it and put in place a plan of action. So last year's assembly, I mentioned that I wanted to go to Mount Everest, okay, and I needed approximately £3,000. So I said to my wife, can I have £3,000? And essentially said, well, we don't have that type of money kicking around. So I said, well, that's the end of my dream if I don't do something different. So what do? Do I forget about what would be my ultimate trip, or do I do something about it? So I was thinking, well, where on earth am I going to get £3,000 from? So obviously I work in school Monday to Friday, and I'm thinking, well, that leaves Saturday and Sunday. If I chose to do some work or earn some money on the weekend, I said to my wife, if I do work on the weekend, can I keep the money? And she was actually okay with that. So I thought, all right, okay, well, over a year, £3,000 is doable. And I thought, if I raise any more than £3,000, because I had no idea how much I might earn, I thought anything above that, I'll put into a charity called Recipe. And anyway, so this was the result. So this was the figures as of the 31st of December. So I earned over £2,500 from decorating. I used to be a painting decorator when I first left school, so I earned quite a bit from that. Last year's resolution, I made cutting boards and bird boxes and hat stands. So I made over £500 selling those. Mr. Armand gave me some things to sell on eBay, and I had other things kicking around the house, which I sold. And I set up a GoFundMe page, and I got £300 from very close friends and relatives who sort of wanted that trip for me to go ahead. So you can see there, I raised over £3,500. Now we only needed 3,000, so I gave £500 to a charity called Recipe, and they help people with addiction issues, whether that's alcohol, drugs. And it was set up by this guy here and his wife. So this is Laurie Duffy and his wife Stacey. Unfortunately, Laurie passed away last year, so it made it a bit extra special to raise that money and donate that money. But that felt good to give that money over. So this year, 2021, you're in the position where you've got 6-7 weeks where, yeah, you've got these online lessons and things, but what's going to be different this year? What are you going to do different to this year or different to last year? So unless you actively do something, it's going to be the same old. 1 year blends into the next. I can go back 20 years and I know I've done something different for every single one of those years. So I'm going to show you a couple of images, and then it's all about sort of the local places. So if you know any of these places, by all means, put your mic on and say where you think it might be. So does anyone recognize that location there at all? So we've got, this is Danby Beacon, okay, up on the North York Moors. What about this location here? Anyone recognize this location? So we've got a road coming down the hill to a roundabout. This is the roundabout where if you turn right there, it goes to Slights, and this road comes into Whitby. And there's a farm here called Baniel Farm. And this big stone here, you may have seen it as you drive down here. There it is there, just on the right-hand side. So does anyone know what the relationship between Danby Beacon and that stone is and this farm? The War Memorial, okay? So during World War II, this is what Danby Beacon looked like. So you've got billets where the soldiers lived, the naffy, which is like a cafe where the soldiers ate, officers' houses. And these are some images of Danby Beacon during World War II. Okay, if you actually go up there, you can see some of the bricks kicking around on the moorland, and the bases, the foundations of these masts are all still there. Now, what it was, these masts, these radar masts, picked up signals that there was some enemy aircraft in the area. So we signaled up to Northumberland, and some fighter planes came down and shot this aeroplane down. So this is at Baniel Farm, just by that roundabout. And you can see it's landed on the other side of this building. So there's it's a Junker bomber. And that's obviously a sort of a sketch drawing of it. But this plane here, what's significant about it, though, is it's the first enemy aircraft to be shot down on British soil during World War II. And it's right on our doorstep. And really pleased that you knew a little bit about that, Jack. Well done. Okay, what about this place? Anyone recognise this place? We've got a pub here called the Arncliffe Arms. Recognise this as Glaisdale. So the pub here called the Arncliffe Arms, which is sort of along here. You've got this row of houses. And this one, someone basically asked me, what is this funny little building down here? No, okay. So when I did some research, this this building here is an explosive store. And I'm thinking, an explosive store, why on earth is there an explosive store there? This big open empty field here, why? So I came across this image here. This is 1872, and this is Glaisdale, okay? So that bunker is there. These are them houses. The pub is further along here. And this building here is a pub, or was a pub, called the Angler's Rest. Now, before it was called the Angler's Rest, it was called the Three Blast Furnaces. So as you look down into this empty field, this is what it looked like in from 1862 to 1875. These are three blast furnaces. And here they were extracting iron ore. So there was mines here, which is why they wanted the explosive. But they were also making iron, okay, iron and steel. So this was a hive of industry in this empty field that you drive by and you think, well, it's just a nice green field. But that there was once a hive of industry. It only operated for 13 years, but one of the old gentlemen I go and see, who's he's 84 now, he remembers all of these being knocked down in sort of the 1940s. This all got sort of knocked down and flattened. Okay, one more image. Anyone recognize that image? Okay, so a lot of people would say it's Danby, but the correct part of North Yorkshire Moors, this is actually called Dale End, but a lot of people know it as Danby. But in actual fact, it's not Danby Village at all. It's called Dale End. Danby Village. So the image I've just shown you, there's Danby Station. So this village, the image I've just shown you is up here somewhere. Okay. The original Danby Village is you have to come down into Aimthorpe. Danby School is here. And this road comes all the way up to Bottom. Okay, it's in the middle of nowhere. And this is Danby Church. So Danby Village was in these fields here. Okay. And there was 35 small holdings. So a small holding is like a small farm with maybe 1 or 2 acres. And there was 35 of these farms here. And basically the village was abandoned and flattened sort of from the 14th century onwards due to the bubonic plague. And also we changed over from sort of farming animals to crops. So the land was used in different ways. So this place here has got loads and loads of different history. Okay. And as I say, you drive along here or walk along here, there's nothing but fields. So this year's resolution is, I played a little song now and I showed you the image called The Detectorists. So I've purchased myself a metal detector this year, and what I'm planning on doing is getting myself out and looking in some of those fields, and I've got lots of friends with farmland and things like that. So
I got one of them, sir.
Say again?
I got a metal detector.
Have you? Okay, well, we'll have a little chat of that at the end of this assembly. Is that Max again?
Yeah.
Okay, so as I say, I'm planning on trying to get out once a fortnight. I mean, the weather's not ideal, so I certainly won't be going anywhere today. The important thing is you can't just get your metal detector and go and sort of search where you like. You always have to have landowners' permission. And some of you might be aware that I keep a blog. And as I say, I'll write a blog of the different dates and locations that I'm searching, but hopefully find some local artifacts that might be of interest. So what about you? Okay, so last year, I was just having a little think about this. So I know Dan Glover, he set a resolution to build his own gaming PC. And I think it was around, I don't know, maybe May, June time. He sent me a message with some pictures and he'd actually put together his own gaming PC. Never done it before, but put it together. And that was fantastic, considering he hadn't done that before. If we think about Anthony Joshua, the world champion boxer, he didn't start boxing until he was 18. He didn't know he was a good boxer. So it was only till he came out of his comfort zone, went and had a go, that he discovered he had a talent for something. So my message is always, you do not know what your talents are unless you go and have lots of little experiences to see what you like, what you don't like, what you're good at. But ultimately, if you stay in your comfort zone, you're never really going to fully have a good idea of what you can and cannot do. Okay, so it says there you're only limited by your own inhibitions. I can't do this, I can't do that, and therefore you don't try, and yeah, you never will. Okay, if I think about learning guitar, okay, some of you might be able to play guitar, but I didn't know how to play a string, and at the end of that year I played a couple of songs, and they're on YouTube somewhere. But it's a great sense of achievement if you crack something that you think you can't do. The important bit here, though, is to set an action plan. Okay, so if you say, right, I want to run a marathon this year, well, don't just turn up on the day and try and run a half marathon. You're probably going to fail or injure yourself. So the idea would be to do, I don't know, couch to 5K, maybe work up to 10K, and then towards the back end of the year, do your half marathon. But totally doable. If I think my kids did their first sort of half marathons at the age of 11, something like that. So totally doable, but you have to put in place that training plan. And also there, maybe get a friend involved. So I do a lot of sport, and I've got a training partner. So last night we were out running. I couldn't be bothered running. It was snow. It was horrible. But he said, "Are we out tonight?" And yeah, okay, get the head torches and off we go up into the woods, and working with a friend can really help. So this is a great quote. It's about a mindset, okay? And we will have done things about positive mindsets and things like that. Just think about this, okay? Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. So if you're one of those closed mindsets where I can't do this, I can't do that, yeah, that's all you're ever going to achieve is you can't do it, because you're not giving yourself the opportunity to experiment and do something. So have a little think about what you want to do this year, and hopefully you can maybe message me and give me an idea of what your resolution might be this year. Okay.